And you're watching The Rock Office.
Hey everyone, this is Eddie Trunk, and you are watching The Rock Office.
Hey everyone, this is The Rock Office. Time to clock in and rock out. I'm your host, Bill Smith.
And I'm Kevin Davis.
And we, second episode, season 3, and this is a little different for us this episode, this interview. We're very excited to bring you Eddie Trunk, who is not a musician, rather a TV and radio personality. He's an author. He hosts the VH1's That Metal Show, my favorite show on TV, as well as several nationally syndicated radio talk shows. And he's an author, he's a lecturer, he's very embedded into the music industry, and he's going to be calling here in a little bit, taking some time out of his schedule to speak with us. And we are elated to have him. He is a hero of mine. He's one of the few journalists in music that I actually believe and admire what he says. It's not just a bunch of fluff from him. So we're going to be bringing that to you here in a couple moments.
Yes, and we have a brand new sponsor for this episode. Yes. You probably saw a little bit in the intro there, and of course we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. But I'm going to let Bill do that because Bill has kind of a personal story that kind of goes along with it as well.
Yes, the Ham Agency, Mr. David Ham, who is the head honcho over there, a great insurance and financial services agency. Dave has been a terrific help for my wife and I over the last couple of years. He saved us literally thousands of dollars on insurance, different policies, investments, and things of that nature. We first met him when my mom passed away, and he was helping my dad and my family sell her estate. And I walked into his office. He had a couple Kiss albums on his desk, and I knew
it was love at first sight.
I knew right at that moment that this was a gentleman that I could trust.
Right.
And he was a kindred spirit. And throughout the years, I've seen him at different concerts. At Stryper a couple years ago, I saw him at Tesla. And he not only is he a music fan, but he is very, very good at what he does. He not only deals with insurance, but he helps people situate themselves with Medicaid and a lot of different Obamacare things that's been going on. He helps people get that situated.
Taxes.
Yes, taxes. He's done my wife and I's taxes for the last several years, and investments and things of that nature. And I just can't say enough great things about him. Not just because he sponsored this episode, because he is not only a friend at this point, but we are clients of his as well. And if you need any kind of help in any of those matters, please give them a call. Go and see them. They're located in beautiful East Lake, Ohio, and I know that Dave can help you. He has a great staff there, and very courteous, and personal attention to detail for me is really what impresses me. He doesn't have a big secretary or big staff to delve out his work. He handles everything himself, and I appreciate that, especially dealing with matters as assurance and things of that personal of a nature. You want the confidence and that personal touch, and Dave definitely delivers that.
Yeah, so if you need anything in regards to any of those, insurance, taxes, help with some Medicare issues, things like that, check out the David Ham Insurance Agency.
Yes.
And we've got the info right here for you. There you go. So, give them a shout. So, let's see if we can get hooked up with Eddie here. He's supposed to be on the phone here any second. So what we're going to do is we're going to be right back to you, and we're going to have Eddie Trunk.
Okay, we are being connected now with Mr. Trunk. And Mr. Trunk, thank you for taking your time to speak with us today. And I just want to start the interview with saying congratulations on your 30-year anniversary. I know you recently celebrated that, and this past season you showed us a little bit on That Metal Show of the celebration. It was a star-studded event, but we just want to say congratulations to you, because that is an impressive milestone, especially in this industry.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm really honored that great musicians came together to celebrate, and to think that it's been this long is it's been pretty incredible. It was cool that everybody got a chance to see a little taste of it on the latest episode of That Metal Show. But it was a long night and a lot of great stuff went on. And 5 years ago for my 25th, Judas Priest played a private show, and then to have had this happen was just incredible. So very lucky and grateful to have friends and people like that think enough of me to do something like that.
Well, like I said, it was great to see that little bit on that episode. And, I know that there's people worldwide that admire what you do and, want to celebrate this incredible milestone, especially in this industry.
It really is. I mean, I never really, I just speaking to someone earlier about this, I'm someone that, I very much live in the moment.
Okay.
I don't ever think about what I've done in the past so much. I also don't ever really think about how long I'm doing it because I just kind of am so focused on what I'm doing now.
Okay.
So it was kind of it's very rare that I take a beat and say, okay, here's what I've been doing, and then realize, oh my God, you blink and it's been 30 years. So It's really kind of crazy, and it's nice to at least the last couple 5 years to do that on every 5 year basis. So hopefully I'm still standing at 35, and we'll see what I can pull together 5 years from now. But it was certainly a special night.
So, Mr. Trunk, just getting into the interview, what is the one thing over the 30 years that you've been in journalism, that you've been doing what you're doing, that you have seen that has made the most change in the industry, be it either good or bad? What is the one thing, and maybe you could elaborate a little bit on it?
Without a doubt, the internet. I mean, without question, the internet. I mean, it's changed everything. I mean, every single aspect of the music industry has been changed, from media to music delivery of music to promotion of music to everything. I mean, heck, I think about the days I used to manage bands, and I used to have to sit and I would, envelopes and cassettes and mailings and what have you. And now everything is just so different. And like anything, there's pros and cons to it. I'm still very, very much a physical guy. I like CDs. I want physical product. It makes my life so much easier, makes things easier to store and to navigate and to deal with and to play for me on my radio shows. So I'm all about CDs still. It's still by far my favorite format. It's still digital. I can still put it in an iPod, but I can still tangibly have something. And I'm holding on for dear life for them. I hope they continue. And my logic is, if people think that vinyl is still viable, then CD shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon because it's digital still. But I don't, that being said, I mean, there's so many other aspects of it, and the internet, I think, has changed everything. And obviously, the downside of it has basically destroyed sales. I mean, the concept of selling records is almost laughable at this point for most bands. It's the concept of a gold record is almost a joke. I mean, it used to be you sneezed and you got a gold record if you got on MTV a little bit and you got some airplay. And now I would think they have to seriously be considering realigning what the sales numbers are for gold platinum records, because I don't think people are going to see them anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. And one thing that we always talk about here in the Rock Office is, supporting the physical version of music, and not, we're not so much fans of the digital downloaded version. We like the tangible and the having something in your hand. And, we're always encouraging people to support the local record store, support the bands that put out those albums and the CDs and the LPs. And it's just good to hear that, that's, the physical versus digital battle, that you're still lining up on that physical side too. That's good to hear that.
Well, you have to remember, for me, when you say physical versus digital, again, CDs are digital, and that's a huge distinction, because unlike tapes or, cassettes or 8-tracks or even albums, CDs are still a digital format. It's still the same way to deliver music as getting a download or a stream. It's just obviously encoded onto a disc with packaging and a different technology, but it's still digital in the sense that you can still take the thing and you can still put it on an iPad. You can't without going through a lot of processes, you can't really easily take a cassette or a vinyl album and put it onto an iPod.
Right.
You can with a CD. So it's still digital. It's just a physical, tangible thing. And more, I think easily to be moved around and more flexible is what you can do with it. So that's why I prefer it so much. But, the conversation of just the record store in general, I mean, I grew up working in a record store.
Right.
Working in a record store, that was such a great experience. It taught me so much. And I miss record stores tremendously. The ones that are still around, I enjoy going to, and I try to support as best I can. And there are still some out there that are doing okay. And who knows, maybe they'll make a comeback someday with some sort of nostalgia angle. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that whole experience of going to a record store, browsing through bins, talking to the salespeople, getting recommendations. I mean, to this day, I meet people that when I worked in a record store, will come up to me like, "Hey, man, I got turned on to whatever band because you recommended them to me back in '85 when you worked in a record store."
Right.
And that's just kind of missing a little bit. The other thing that really for me is a concern is the whole album experience.
Yes.
Like, I like an album. I want 10, 12 sequenced songs. I want to want to digest that music the way the artist wanted me to have that journey from song 1 to 12. And now you've got, bands putting out EPs or consecutive EPs or just here's a couple songs or here's a single or here's this.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just not as special anymore. It's just like music it makes music seem a lot more disposable and you can kind of just, it's not as special when you get it. I know to most, especially younger people, I probably just sound like an old, out of touch guy, but it's very, to me, it's just a totally different way of being delivered music. And when it's so easily obtainable and it's like, well, here's a song this week and we'll throw you a song next week and here's a download or here's a this or here's a that. It's just not the same thing. I still love getting a package in the mail and opening it up and seeing a CD for the first time and opening the cellophane and going through the booklet and looking at the credits and looking at the pictures and putting that thing on and listening to all those songs.
Right.
And that's what's really, really missing, I think.
No, I totally agree. Like you, I used to work at couple of different record stores, and it was such a huge foundation in my musical education. And you're right, that is what is missing. And I think that is what a lot of the problem with the current music industry is. But I'm going to shift gears real quick. And, we talking to you here in Cleveland, Ohio, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I know that you've expressed a great deal of disdain for on your shows. And we at times can agree with you. But, I think they're starting to do some things right. Last year, Rush got inducted. And now this year, Kiss is getting inducted. So the question I'd like to ask you is there, if you had to pick one band that has just been blatantly overlooked and that needs to be inducted into the Rock Hall today, who is that one band?
Easy, Deep Purple.
Okay.
Deep Purple without question.
Okay.
Deep Purple, even though I am a bigger Kiss Rush fan than I am Deep Purple, in my opinion, should have gone in before either of those bands.
Okay.
And those bands will tell you that themselves.
Okay.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is supposed to be all about influence, number one.
Right.
And Deep Purple predates all those bands.
Yes.
And Smoke on the Water, which is guitar riff 101 for anybody learning guitar alone, should have been enough.
Right.
But Deep Purple globally are an enormous band. They're still active. They had a huge impact on so many groups. They almost predate metal. Lars Ulrich wouldn't probably exist as a musician without Deep Purple, and he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he'll tell you this.
Yeah.
So to me, it's beyond comprehension that Deep Purple has been on the sidelines for probably 20 years of being eligible for the Hall.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't agree with you more. I think that's an excellent example, a great choice. Mr. Trunk, I don't want to be that guy because I've heard you mention that you get this all the time on the street and stuff, and I don't want to be that guy. But the truth is, I might not get to ever meet you in person. I might not get to be on that metal show. So while I have you on the phone, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind if we could do a Stump the Trunk. I have a question prepared, and I was wondering if we could just try to do something real quick. And I don't expect any prizes or anything like that. I just want to see if I can stump you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. The question is, there was a super group that recorded one song on a soundtrack in the early 90s. It was for a horror movie. It's for a Wes Craven movie. Some of the members of this supergroup included Tommy Lee, Paul Stanley, Michael Anthony, and Desmond Child. Can you name the album and the song, and then the name of the supergroup?
I think the soundtrack was called Shocker.
Yes, you're correct. Yes.
Was it Shocker?
Yes, it was.
Wasn't the song called Shocker?
Yeah, it was actually.
But I don't know. I don't know that the band had a name. Did the band have a name?
Yes. The name of the band was called The Dudes of Wrath.
Yeah. Well, so I got 2/3 of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it to you because that's more than probably anyone else in the world will know. So my hat's off to you, sir. Congratulations.
Listen, just a real quick thing on something.
Sure.
I don't think I know it all by any stretch.
Okay.
It's just a fun bit that we do. But and I have no problem saying when I don't know something because there's plenty I don't know. But when questions are completely out of left field, like insane questions, that's when I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Right. Well, thank you for indulging me in that, Mr. Trunk. And just to kind of, wrap things up here in this interview, what do you got planned here in the future? I know there's probably another season of That Meadow Show on the horizon. I know you just recently, the last couple months, released the second volume of your Essential Heavy Metal Guide. But what's on the horizon for you? What can your fans look for and expect?
Well, this time of year, now that we're in the beginning of the new year, I mean, in addition to the 2 radio shows and the TV show, there's a lot of the summer concerts and stuff and the festivals are now starting to be announced. Okay. So I'm lucky enough to be tied to, on an annual basis, some really cool events that I look forward to doing every year.
Oh, cool.
I'm also going out and doing shows on my own where I'm doing kind of like storytelling Q&A sort of stuff.
Okay.
And then myself, Don, and Jim are also actually going out and doing live shows together.
Oh,
where
nice.
I tell some stories and do some Q&A, and those guys do some stand-up comedy. And we have a string of those being booked as well. So working the road the last couple of years and this year more than I probably ever have. And with all those events, it's also an opportunity for me to tie in book signings as well. So I'm going to be, out just about every weekend going forward for the most part, doing things as they come up. And at the same token, of course, fully focused on keeping the 2 radio shows going as best as they can and building everything else that I'm doing and always looking for new opportunities and ways to do that. And the second book is still relatively fresh and people have already asked about a third. I don't know if and when I'll do that, but there's still a lot of life left in both of the books that I have out. So, always looking for things to do around that as well.
All right, Mr. Trunk, that's the last of my questions. I just want to thank you for taking your time. I know you're super busy. And your fans can probably find a lot of these dates on EddieTrunk.com, follow you and like you on Facebook and Twitter. I know that we have certainly done that, and I know you share a lot of pictures and different dates and stuff that are coming up. But more importantly, we just want to thank you for taking your time once again, being on the show. It just means a great deal to us. What you do and That Metal Show certainly is something that has inspired us to, do this on our own and, provide a platform for, the people that we look up to and admire. So thank you for that.
I certainly wish you guys luck with what you're doing as well. And I appreciate you, your support and taking the time.
Oh, well, thank you. And, next time you come to Cleveland, hopefully we can meet up face to face and say hi to each other. So thank you again.
All right. I'll see you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was it. That was the interview with Eddie Trunk. Hope you liked it. I like a lot of what he had to say, especially about the physical format, the CDs and LPs and stuff. And this is a gentleman that knows his stuff. He knows, not just opinionated. He is, but he knows what he's talking about. He has 30 plus years of experience in this industry, and just admire and look up to him so much. And it's just so thankful for him taking the time. And I want to thank his manager, Kevin, for helping to orchestrate all this. Thank you, Kevin. And we're going to regroup the set here, and we'll be right back. All right, Mr. Eddie Trunk. What a pleasure to speak with him. Like I said earlier, he is a hero of mine. I really admire him and his stance on music and just his reviews and stuff. And like I said, that metal show is probably my favorite show on TV. It's the only one that I watch over and over again, and it's the only reason I still subscribe to cable to see it. So once again, Mr. Trunk, it was an honor to speak with you. Thank you for taking your time and being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I have to say, however, though, you failed. You did not stump the trunk.
I did not. Yeah. But at least I tried.
No, you tried. You tried.
I really thought I was going to get him on that question.
No.
That was a good question.
He had you. He had you pretty good.
Well, that's why he is who he is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you very much for your time on that, Mr. Trunk. And, check out what he's doing. Check that book out. I mean, it's a phenomenal read.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, both of them. And, hopefully he comes out with the third one. I know, he said that, as of yet, he's not sure what he's doing. However, I'm pretty positive he'll come out with a third one, and it'll be just as good, if not better, as the first 2 volumes. So that's excellent. Make sure you continue to support what we do as well, if you can. Make sure you go out there, like our Facebook page, share us, hit that share button. Liking is awesome, but sharing is better. That's what I say. Make sure that you get that out there, because if you don't, it won't allow us to continue to grow. It won't allow people to see what you're interested in. And most of all, it won't get the word out in regards to a lot of what we're covering. We've been blessed with being able to cover a lot of national acts. We're looking at some local stuff. We've got some stuff in the works. We're going to be bringing that to you. We promise. We've got some really, really cool stuff coming to you this season. So we don't want you to miss it, and we don't want other people to miss it. So check us out. Go to facebook.com/rockoffice. Also, hit up our website. Go to www.therockoffice.com. Check out our blog. Billy here puts up some good stuff every week that you can read, album reviews, local stuff, national stuff. We cover shows. We've got some photos out there of some of the artists that we've been able to go check out. And, of course, we have all of our episodes there for you to view right on the website. And, of course, on iTunes. If you have an iTunes-enabled device, computer, most everybody does these days, go to the podcast section, check out The Rock Office, download our stuff, subscribe on there. You'll be the first to get it because that's where it goes first. So make sure you check that out. Anything you can think of?
We're also on Twitter, Twitter at _rock_office. Follow on there along, and you get some cool stuff there that you might not get anywhere else. I'm not sure what, but something cool will be there.
Cool stuff.
And we're also on Instagram, Instagram.com, The Rock Office. But we want to once again thank our sponsor, the Ham Agency. Make sure you check them out for all your financial and insurance needs. Great personal service, great guys there. And I think, as always, remember, support your local independent record store by buying the physical copy of music instead of the digital download. We'll see you next time on The Rock Office. Take care. God bless.